Meanwhile, I'll pretend I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Kevin Ward's like,
well, I'm watching. I'm on your pay. I'm on the group in the group right now, so I'm waiting for it to actually show up there because that will tell me when they're. Oh, we're live. I see it.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Lab Coat Agents. Today, we've been waiting for this a very long time. We've got Kevin Ward with us, dude. I can't believe you're like. We're both in LA County, by the way. I mean,
where are you? I thought you were in San Diego. I don't know why I thought that.
I visit San Diego so much that it feels like I'm in San Diego.
I thought you were in San Diego. I didn't know that.
It's about freaking time we do this. So
Absolutely.
For those of you who don't know Kevin Ward, not only is he a best-selling author, and by the way, we've got that link up there for a free book, The Book of Yes. He's also an amazing, amazing coach. I've watched a ton of his YouTube videos, and I've learned a lot from him without ever actually talking to this guy. This guy is totally awesome. Be prepared today. We're talking about how to crush it instead of being crushed. What a beautiful topic, Kevin. How did you come up with that?
Because I see too many real estate agents getting crushed, and the changes that are happening, we're not ready. Agents are not ready for not what's going to happen, but for what's happening right now. I mean,
that's a beautiful thing because we've been talking a little bit about it by saying, hey, look, realtor.com just shifted. Open Door is doing this. Dude, Zillow just changed a little bit of their branding. They brought in mortgage.
Which is huge.
It's huge, but nobody's piecing it all together and talking about it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that before we even started this, you brought it up, and it's like, hey, Tristan, we're in the middle of a shift. I'm like, and you said, not just one shift, multiple shifts. And I think it's important to talk about that and then head into where you're heading into. So, dude, bring us up to date on what you're seeing.
Well, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to talk about it's something I saw you guys post on the Facebook group today. I can't remember if it was you or Nick, but somebody posted, if you really want to make money in real estate, it all comes down to talking to people. I'm not sure I think that was you, but I'm not sure. One of you posted it.
Take credit for that. And
well, it was one of you guys, and you're like, I don't care where you're getting your business, where you're lead generating, where you're focusing on. It ultimately all comes down to the more people you talk to, the more business you're going to get. And the better you are at having those conversations and learning how to lead people to decisions, the more you're going to get. And when I first started real estate, which was back in 1998, I've been doing real estate now for over 20 years. And when I started in 1998, I was brand new in real estate. I just moved to a new town in Dallas-Fort Worth. I had never lived in a big city. I moved from a town of 12,000 people to Dallas-Fort Worth, so I didn't know anybody. I had no savings. I had no sales experience except working at Burger King when I was in college. And so I didn't know real estate. I'd never even owned my own house until literally I bought a house when I moved to Dallas-Fort Worth and started real estate. And I didn't know what to do. And so I started with Century 21 Mike Bowman now in Grapevine, Texas, which was in Dallas-Fort Worth. And fortunately, they had really great training. And Dan Galt was my first trainer. And he was like, okay, here's what you need to do. Because I had no money. I had no marketing budget. We didn't have social media, right? We didn't even have websites. And the MLS had just gone computerized like a year or two before. I still remember seeing in the office in the corner on top of some old filing cabinets, the old MLS books. So it was that recent. So he's like, and I'm like, okay, so what do I do? So I didn't have money for newspaper advertising or print advertising or for geographic farming, and I didn't have time. So he's like, call for sale by owners and expireds. Just start talking to people. And so that's what I did. And I started calling every day. And then he would tell me, if you really want to get better results, go knock on their door. So go door knocking. So I'm like, all right. But I don't want to door knock because I hated the idea of rejection. I was scared. I mean, I was just terrified. So I was like, he kept saying, you got to go door knock. You got to go door knock. And you're going to get more business that way. And I listed my first for sale by owner about 30 days in, and it was $42,000. The list price was $42,900 in Fort Worth, Texas. That was my first listing ever. And I had to sell it twice because the first time I sold it, the inspection came back really bad and the buyers bolted. So I had to sell it again. But anyway, he kept saying, go door knock, go door knock. And so one day I'm like, okay, I'm going to go door knock. And I mean, you know how you have to work up the courage to do something that you're terrified of doing. And so
you have to talk to yourself. It's like,
I'm psyching myself out. Oh, like crazy. And I can still, it's kind of like your first kiss. You remember it in slow motion. So I remember in slow motion, pulling up in front of my first for sale by owner, opening the door and getting out. And then I remember walking up the yard. Now this is in Texas where you have big front yards, long sidewalks, big front porch. And I just remember it's kind of like a scene in the movie as I'm walking up the front porch where you see the person there walking and the destination keeps getting further and further and further away. And the sidewalk just kept getting longer and longer. I finally get to the sidewalk, to the porch. I start walking up on the porch in my dress shoes, and it was the wooden porch. So it was like clonk, clonk every step. This long porch, and the screen doors closed, but the front door's open. And I hear this voice from the other side of the screen door say, "Are you a realtor?"
Oh, crap.
That's what I thought. I'm like, crap. They didn't give me a script for this one. And I'm like, so I have no idea what I said, but it was probably yes, sir. And the next thing he said, then get the blank off my porch. And I guess I did.
Did he show you his shotgun or revolver?
I only imagine that. I don't know, because when I came to, I was sitting in my car. I mean, I have no memory of what happened next. I just remember sitting in my car and going like, I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing that again. And I went back and I literally did not door knock again for 2 years. Now, I was a great phone prospector and that's what saved me, but I wouldn't go door knocking. I just was like, I'm not going to do it. And when I think about that, I think about letting that shut me down for 2 years from door knocking, and how powerful door knocking turned out to be for me, and how powerful it is for agents that have skills and confidence. But here's the lesson. And that is, the reason it knocked me out and took me out of the game for so long was because I wasn't ready for it. I was totally unprepared for that encounter. And most real estate agents today are totally unprepared for what's about to happen and what is actually happening right now in the real estate industry. And I say there are three big changes that are happening in the real estate industry right now. Three big changes. Number one is technology. That's the first big change. It's not like just happening today. It's been happening. This technology has been disrupting the industry and is continuing to disrupt the industry. It's not going to stop. Right? Zillow is probably the greatest, like if you want to give one culprit, Zillow's probably been the biggest technology disruptor, and it's been both a boon and a bane. It's been good and it's been bad. I think Zillow is bad for agents. I've been a big supporter last year when Greg Hague from Arizona started the Stop Zillow movement. I think it's not going to be that simple, and I think stopping Zillow is really not the end game. That's kind of like trying to stop the hurricane. You're probably not going to stop the hurricane, but you got to be ready for it. And so the response that I hear from so many people is, we got to beat Zillow at their own game. Well, if you think that you're going to beat Zillow at their game, you're an idiot.
I agree, dude.
They're the biggest kid on the block. They are the smartest kid on the block. They are bigger, faster, and so far ahead of you. You're never going to catch them at their game. And if you're trying to beat them at their game, you're playing the wrong game.
Agreed. Oh, dude, thank you for saying that, because I tell people, it's like, no, you can't play the game that they're playing. Can you imagine trying to catch up to them? That's impossible.
You can't. Here's the problem. And with the problem, we'll get to the solution. The problem is, we are trying to build our business on technology. We're trying to build it on somebody else's platform. In other words, now Zillow has taken our business and we handed it to them on a silver platter. Thank you, NAR. We handed it to them, and we were all in it. I mean, none of us went like, nobody was yelling and screaming and stomping up and down and saying, no, you can't give it away. Nobody was protesting.
Well, dude, to be fair to some agents, some agents just come in and they don't know what's going on. They just know that they need to work, head down, door
100%.
knock, call. So there's those too, right? Our leadership screwed up.
Absolutely. They screwed up like big time. But it was just like, so we gave it to them, and then they used our inventory They didn't have any inventory. We gave it to them for free, and they used it. They marketed it better than we did. And then they said, hey, we got so many of these buyer leads are all coming to us, and we can't sell them these houses because we're just a marketing platform. So you want these buyer leads? And people, yeah. So we're like, okay, well, here, we're going to create this thing so you can give us money and we'll give you buyer leads. So that's how it all started. And they crushed the exclusivity of the information that we had as real estate agents. And that was like, as somebody said, the goose that laid the golden egg, we gave it away. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you're not going to beat them at their own thing. But what we're still trying to do, even today, is we're trying to win and do our lead generation on someone else's platform, which means we're using Zillow, their platform, or Facebook, their platform. And as long as you're doing that, I'm not opposed to it, but you need to understand that as long as you're doing that, it is like you are driving your business on somebody else's freeway and renting the truck from them, which means they're totally in control of the traffic flow and everything. You're driving on their highways, renting trucks from them, and your business is dependent on their stuff. And my belief is, and this is what we're training our agents to do, is you need to build your own platform, both online and offline. You've got to build your own platform. And we literally, my team, Yes Masters, our team has been working on this nonstop now for 11 and a half months. That 11 and a half months ago, we were like, we have got to figure this out because so here's what you do. Then you own your own highway, you own your own online vehicle, and it's great to tap into Zillow and great to tap into Facebook, but I want to get the traffic from them and I need to own it on my own platform and stop trying to get my business off that platform. And the beauty of it is because of technology, it's so easy today if you know what to do. But having a real estate agent website, the average real estate agent website sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you don't mind me just being straight, right?
Dude, we're straight all day in the group.
Okay. I don't know how else to be. I'm just like, I've hacked nearly 1,000 real estate websites. In fact, I have hacked every single real estate agent in America doing over 40 million a year in volume. I have hacked, which means I've looked at every single one of their websites, if they have a website. And 99% suck. Their website looks no different than any the stuff that's on their website. Almost any agent put on their website, and there's nothing about it. I go to your website, and to me, it's a rubber wall. I just go to your website, and bam, I'm going to bounce right off of it because there's nothing about it that pulls me in and says you're my agent. I need to talk to you. I need to use you. So we got to change how we do that. So technology is number one. I call it the great disruptor. It is changing everything. And because of the technology online platform now, you have companies that are able to come in and do things like Open Door, like Zillow offers. All the iBuyer, we've created an entire new industry has been created in the last 3 years because of the internet called iBuyers. It's a whole new category of real estate, right? Exactly. And what is it promising to sellers? Sell your home without an agent. Well, why would that be a plus? Because every homeowner knows that most realtors suck. We don't want an agent. I mean, how many sellers, homeowners are out there want an agent? They want an agent about like I want a dentist. Right?
Dude.
Nobody wants a dentist, but right. If our mouth is hurting, we need a dentist. Right? Yeah. So people need a real estate agent, but they don't want us. And because of some other things, which we'll get to, that's part of the thing is we're not prepared for the technology shift that's happening and the disruption that's happening now and going to continue to happen. And with the new class action lawsuit, I don't know, but I know that the law firms representing the plaintiffs don't lose. They are the best in terms of you go back decades of the law firms that are the best at winning class action lawsuits, and the two law firms that are bringing this case for the plaintiffs in the class action lawsuit against NAR and against half of the brokers in America and MLSs and all of that, they play to win.
All right, so let's talk about that. Yep. How do you see a win from this class action lawsuit affecting?
It's so easy.
Tell me.
It is the number one way to crush it in the industry and in the future with all these shifts happening. And it's simply this: whoever can attract and win the most sellers wins. 100% of your business focus, lead generation, all your resources, time and money should be focused on winning sellers, period. You spend an hour trying to generate a buyer lead, you spend $1 trying to generate a buyer lead, you're wasting your time. They're easier to get, and that's why agents do it.
Yep.
They're easier, they're cheaper, but when you attract a buyer lead, they're really not leads, they're prospects. And you are literally getting the lowest life form on the real estate food chain. I mean, that is the worst. Yeah, but they're the easiest to get. That's why real estate agents go for them. You can get them all day from Zillow and all that kind. And there's all these other platforms. Social media, it's way easier to attract a buyer lead than it is to attract a true seller. Right? It's just easier for most agents. Yeah. So it's an easier strategy. They're more numerous. So it's just, that's what they do. When you get listings by focusing on sellers, the buyers come for free because you have what they want. You have the inventory. Now you control the market. You control your business. You control your life. You control your income. You control everything when you have sellers. So this is what I've been teaching for 7 years since I started. By the way, we launched Guest Masters Real Estate Success Training 7 years ago next week. April the 10th. 2012 was the first day. So what is today? The 4th. A week from today will be our 7-year anniversary. A week from whatever. Yesterday.
Happy 7 years, bro.
Thank you very much. By the way, congratulations to you guys, Lab Coat agents. I mean, just watching your explosive growth from like nothing to over 92,000 realtors. I'm like, dude, you guys have done some amazing, and your content and what you guys bring is so unbelievably good.
Well, dude,
so
thank you.
Congratulations.
Well, look, you're part of it too, because without people like you that are willing to contribute to make this industry better, we have nothing. So thank you.
Absolutely. So we've been teaching this the whole time. I've been teaching it wrong, and I just figured this out. What I've been teaching is listings are the name of the game. Listings are the name of the game. Listings are the name of the game, and that's wrong. Sellers are the name of the game. Now, if you guys will stay with me on this, this is a huge shift for your clients. Not for you, it's not a huge shift, but for them it is. When I'm focused on getting a listing, because that's what you were taught, right? Get listings, get listings, get listings, which is the name of the game. Get listings, but it's totally wrong. And here's why it's wrong. How many of us like it when somebody approaches us to get something from us?
I hate it.
We hate it.
Because I can smell it. I'm like, hey, what do you want?
Exactly. So now whenever you're trying to get listings, your whole motivation is focused on talking to a seller to get something from them for my benefit. So that's the way we're trained. And so it becomes what is dominant. The dominant thought in your mind is get a listing, get a listing, get a listing. And we've got a seller here that we can help, but we're focused on the listing because that's the way we've been programmed.
True.
So it finally hit me that no wonder they resist us, that sellers resist us, is I just wanted to help people. So when I called expired listings, I just wanted to help them. They wanted to fight, right? Why did they want to fight? Because they didn't believe I was on their side. They believed that I was out to get something for myself. And the moment it finally hit me that I'm here for them, not for me. And I would even tell them that. And that was my approach, but I was still saying, get listings, get listings. And so when I had this epiphany and I realized, wait a second, if you were coming after me to get something from me, I don't like it. I'm going to resist you. I don't feel safe. I feel like you're trying to take advantage of me. The moment I realized it's about winning sellers, because when you get the seller, you get the listing, right? Automatically. You win the client, you win the deal. So the focus 100% should be on connecting with, positioning yourself with, and inspiring sellers to hire you. But now when it's about the seller, my job is to win the seller. Who's it about now? It's about the seller.
Dude, totally. You just shifted that. All right. So tell me, approach-wise, how can agents wrap their head around this and say, well, take me through that process, Kevin, help me? Because a lot of agents are more like, they're stuck doing what they normally do, right? And the problem is that a lot of what they're doing is just ingrained in them with just bad examples of exactly what you're telling me, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you see that an agent needs to do to break out of this and approach this differently?
Well, you have to change. It's a reprogramming process. It's kind of crazy when It's what we do at our training camps. So when I do my live training camps 3 times a year, agents come and spend 3 days with us. And here's what I tell them. I mean, I'm just like, I'm going to change your life. In 3 days, when you leave here, you will be a different person and your future will be different because we reprogram the thinking. And when you do it for 3 days, their brains are like fried.
So you're approaching this more psychologically, kind of like Unleash the Power with Tony Robbins, right?
Well, maybe, but it's still multifaceted. That's just one facet.
Yeah.
So you also change the way you talk. You change what you say. But it always starts with the eyes. It starts with the heart. Because you can, like, if I'm talking to you, and if I'm, like when we offer our coaching programs, or we're selling tickets to an event, or I'm selling my books or whatever, if you believe I'm just in it for the money, you can tell, right? If you can tell when somebody's just in it for the money.
Yeah, you can.
There's a different vibe. There's a different look in their eyes.
Well, dude, there's also no passion or energy.
There can be some energy and passion because that's what we're taught. So like, this is the best thing. You got to get this book. It's so awesome. And so, you can still have that, but it's going to be plastic.
Yes. It's not directed towards actually helping you.
Exactly. So, I look at it and go so the first thing is learning what to say and how to say it in the right way. That's the Book of Yes. I'm unashamed at saying this. This is the best real estate scripts ever written because they are seller focused, not listing focused.
Well, dude, while you have that book up there, I actually had never read the book. So I'm sorry for.
Dude. Well, I'll send you an autographed copy. Just give me your address and we'll send you an autographed copy, or I'll come meet you and give you one.
Dude, I'm going to stop by and pick one up, but I already ordered one too.
That's all right. I'll autograph it. It's better when it's autographed. It's worth more in 50 years.
I'm gonna stop by and just pick it up since we're like freaking neighbors, dude.
Absolutely. So, so you got it's having a conversation now that is so what do most agents listing presentations consist of? And I don't want to dog anybody's stuff, but I got to be straight. If you're spending most of your time talking about you and what you're going to do, you are putting them to sleep or pissing them off.
Yeah. And that mostly all of them talk about me. This is how
here's what we're going to do for you. Here's how good our company is. Here's how good I am. And we even had, when I started real estate, they had us create a me book that you took with you to the listing presentation. I mean, it's like, okay, when you don't know what you're doing, you need something to talk about. So you talk about you and your company. And they don't care about that. So the book, I have actually my listing presentation in this that I've used, and it's evolved. I've taken in my career, I've done over 1,000 listing presentations, taken over 700 listings, sold almost all of them, which is another thing that's different. My agents, my coaching members, I've got dozens of coaching members doing 6 figures. Some I'm doing over $500,000 a year that have sold every single listing they have taken, many of them in their entire career.
So what do you think the difference is here? What are you seeing as the big difference?
Commitment. Your commitment to the seller. My dad just had open heart surgery on Monday, triple bypass. I know this about the surgeon. He was going to do everything in his power to make sure my dad survived, and it was a big deal. It was life and death, right? So he didn't go in and go like, yeah, we about 70% of our patients survive, which is what agents say. You'll sell about 70 or 80% of your listings. And I'm telling you, Tristan, I was watching a YouTube video of one of the biggest coaches in America. On his stage, he has this agent up there celebrating that this agent took over 200 listings in the last year. And like, how many of you want to be like this? And that agent had sold nearly 150 of the 200. And it was under 70%. So I can't remember the exact numbers, but I'm like, that's 68%. And like, this agent is being held up as a superstar, as awesome. And I'm like, why don't you ask the 60 something sellers that she failed for if she's awesome?
I didn't think about looking at it that way.
We don't. No, but I spent my career with expired listings, and why they're upset. They're upset because they have a right to be upset. They had a professional, theoretically, that said they'd get a job done, and selling a house is not that hard. Right? It's not that hard. Every one of us know what to do to sell a house. What we don't know how to do is we don't know how to lead a seller to make the right decisions so that the house can get sold. Exactly. And we blame it on the seller. And my belief is it's on us.
Ooh, I like that, dude.
And I will tell you this.
Love
This
that.
entire real estate class action lawsuit is our fault.
All right, give me your take on that. I want to hear that.
Well, why were plaintiffs upset? They're all sellers, and they're upset because they believe they were forced to pay a buyer's agent commission, right?
Yep.
That's what they. So that may be a legitimate case. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, and frankly, it doesn't really matter to me because my coaching members, if you're doing what I'm training you to do, you're going to crush it. If this happens, and if the plaintiffs win, it'll be the best thing that ever happened for agents that are prepared for it. So I'll get to that.
I want to hear that too.
But my take on it is the reason the sellers are upset, the reason the plaintiffs are upset is they believe they paid commission that was unearned. In other words, we're paying all this money and we just don't think the agents are worth that.
Got it.
If they believed that that commission was money well spent, they wouldn't be filing a lawsuit even if they could, because they're happy.
Makes sense.
They're upset because they believe that agents are overpaid and don't deliver anything close to the value that they charge.
Sounds like the complaint that attorneys have. Very interesting that you brought that up, dude. I didn't think about it that way.
At least attorneys have to go through 2 years of law school and a bunch of work to know what they're doing. Real estate agents, what do you spend 50 hours on sitting in front of your computer reading and taking tests, and you're a real estate agent? Yeah. You're a professional. Agents are, look, this was what happened when I started real estate.
Shoot.
First day I showed up, Dan Galt said, started training. He said, okay, tomorrow we have role play. Now, I didn't know what role play was. I never heard of that because I'd never been in sales before. Like, we have role play tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. So every day we have role play. Well, this was the #1 Century 21 office in the world at that time. Century 21, Mike Bowman. More sold transactions than any other Century 21 office anywhere in the world. 125 agents, back before mega offices were a big deal, before Keller Williams created all these over 100 agents was a massive office. So we had this huge office, 120 agents, role play tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. So the next morning I show up, I always show up early. So I'm there at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock rolls around and I'm like, did I misunderstand something? Guess how many people were there for role play?
How many? 1.
Dan wasn't even there. The trainer wasn't even there. He comes in about 8:15 and he goes like, yeah, well, this just happens sometimes. So we did a little role play. And for the next 5 or 6 months, forever, but for the next 5 or 6 months, I showed up every single day for role play. And half of the days I was the only one. I mean, Dan would be there sometimes, but he didn't really role play that much because he hadn't been in production and he wasn't that great, but he helped me. And then there was another lady, Elvira Rose, that she joined right after I did, and she was pretty good, and she role played. So about half the time we had role play, but nobody shows up for practice, and it reminded me of when I was in 4th grade, and I decided I wanted to play the piano. And my mom and dad bought a brand new piano because I wanted to play, and I started taking lessons. And my piano instructor said I want him to practice 30 minutes a day. Well, I'm a 4th grade boy. I live out on a farm, and practicing the piano was the last thing on my to-do list. And so my mom was always saying, Bub, it's time to come and practice the piano. And I'm like, no, Mom, I don't want to come in right now. So he finally whittled it down to 15 minutes a day. If you'll just practice 15 minutes a day. And I still wouldn't do it. And so after a month or two, my first piano recital was coming up. Okay. And my instructor said, you can't play. I'm not going to let you play. And I'm like, and I remember crying, a 4th grader. I'm crying because he won't let me play on the piano recital. He says, because you won't practice. And now I show up, and so 20 years later now, I show up at my real estate office, and I realized there was a higher expectation of me as a 4th grader playing the piano as an amateur than there is for real estate agents practicing the skills of what to say and how to say it to get $10,000 and $15,000 commission checks. And I realized at that time, I said, we are an industry of amateurs.
We are. That's a very true statement, man. We witness that on a daily basis, just with the number of people that fail out of this business.
Totally. I mean, what is the requirement in your real estate company, and this is like not for you, but any generic company? What is the requirement of training? Like practice, like literally practicing what you say and how to say it. I've got agents that literally practice their first entire year, practice 2 hours a day practicing and role playing scripts. There's not a single professional in any performance industry that could even make it to the college level practicing 2 hours a day. You couldn't make it in baseball. You couldn't make it in football. You couldn't make it in hockey. You couldn't make it in performing arts. You couldn't make it in music. You couldn't make it in vocal. My wife was a concert pianist. She practiced in college 6 to 8 hours a day to perform. And a real estate agent thinks he's doing something special if he practices 30 minutes a day. And the average real estate agent practices how many hours a week? 0.
Dude, that's very true.
So here's the reason so many agents get out. We all suck. That's why if you go pro, which is what I train, I say go pro. When somebody shows up at my event, we have this big sign, this big banner out front that says pros only, amateurs not allowed. And I literally, when we start the event, at the very beginning of the event, I make them declare, and we actually tell people, if you were not willing to play like a pro, like if you're going to not participate in the training, leave, and that will give your money back right now and just go and leave. And you cannot come in unless you're willing to commit.
When's your event in Los Angeles?
June the 19th through the 21st, 1921, June 19th, 20th, and 21st at the Sheraton Gateway, LAX.
I put the link up there too. So if anybody wants to go there, that's right after LCA. So it's perfect.
Yeah. So it's the FX Extreme Training Camp. And F stands for sell by owners, and X stands for expired. So this is my one training I do a year that is just focused specifically on what I call turbo lead generation. These are if you want to turbocharge your business with listings, for sell by owners and expireds are the best way to get it. And this year, for the first time ever, we're also training on probate. So wow. Sell by owners, expireds, probate, and we are now, for the first time since I started my coaching company, I'm also be training on distressed sellers, because short sales has not really been a thing for the last few years, but it's coming.
Wow, dude, I'm seeing the numbers change.
Yeah, they're changing big time. So we got to start preparing for that. And now I'm training that. So we're actually training on those, what I call the 4 turbo lead generation sources, that if you want to turbocharge your business with listings, this is how you do it. And it will change your life. I mean, it is, I believe it's the best training on the planet. And that's the guarantee. If you come and you don't agree it's the best training event you've ever been to, and I know I'm in a room, I'm on a platform here with a lot of great coaches and trainers, but I just have to believe I'm the best, which is what every agent should believe if you wanted to play to win. I mean, who wants the second best, right?
Yeah, you don't go into a presentation, I'm like, hey, I'm the second best.
Yeah, I'm one of the top 10. I'm committed to helping agents be the best in the industry at what they do. So go ahead.
No, I agree, dude. I think that confidence goes a long way with convincing people that they need to use you, because they'll be missing out if they don't. So I agree with you on that.
It also makes it real simple, because here's the question you ask yourself: what do I have to do to become the best so that I'm not full of crap? Right?
That's very true. And that's where the commitment starts that you're talking about.
100%.
You know,
100%.
It's not going to happen if you don't show up to practice.
Yeah. I tell my agents, I don't think to this day, and I've got agents that'll I've got one agent that he just finished his rookie year.
Okay. Rookie year,
over $330,000 in commissions. This in Colorado. Jeez. Over $330,000 commissions. His first quarter this year, over $250,000 his first quarter.
Woo,
he just started his second year.
What did you teach
Sellers.
So what we're talking about, sellers.
Sellers. And he has sold every single listing he's ever taken.
Wow, dude.
I mean, I can tell you, there's so many people like that, agents that we train, that they have sold. And the ones that don't sell every listing are the ones that don't believe me.
All right.
But that's not possible.
So we're talking about the sellers. So tell us where you tell the people that you talk to, that you help grow their business. How should they be gathering this? Where should they go to get the sellers? Yeah,
great question. So if you want to build it fast, you start. So there's 2 real prongs. Everything I believe is in real estate. My whole framework is called the real estate vortex. So the real estate vortex says, number 1, the future of real estate is relationships.
Okay,
it's future of relationship, which I probably need to go back and talk about the 3 changes. We only talked about technology. We haven't really talked about the other 2. But relationships is the big thing. And the fastest way to get to win with sellers is through the people you know, but that's probably not going to be a whole lot of business for you, especially if you're a new agent right away. So for sale by owners, expireds, probates, and distressed sellers are the 4 fastest. For sale by owners and expireds are the least painful because probate and short sales are going through so much, they're going through an emotional process. So it's slower. For sale by owners, expireds, 50% of them are going to relist with a different agent within 30 days. If you know what to do with a for sale by owner, you can win most of them within 30 days if you understand how to approach it. That's what I teach at FX Extreme Training Camp, because most agents think you have to do the game is attrition, which you just hang out and wait, and all the for sale by owners that fall off and fail, eventually they're going to hire an agent. And I'm like, no, you don't do it that way. If you do it that way, I think that's malpractice. The moment they believe you can get them a better result, they will hire you. And that can happen in the first week. If you believe it and you know how to sell and you know how to present it, you know how to lead them to see that it's actually to their benefit to hire you, because they're like, well, I can sell it myself. Well, of course you can. Okay. And it's probably going to cost you a lot of money.
Yep.
When I sell it, I can help you get as much or more money in your pocket, and I can probably do it faster and with least hassle and protect your interests and protect you from legal risk. But legal risk is like, they don't care. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about money. That's the number one thing sellers think about, right?
Dude, I agree. I think one of the biggest, because we've been running expireds for a long time too, one of the biggest challenges that we had initially was the consistency and the follow-up. How do you teach agents to not fall off of that first call?
Great question. All right, so let me do this, Tristan. Let me give you the 3 changes, because it'll all come together to that.
Perfect.
Okay, and then come back to that question on what's the process. So 1 is technology. 2 is the turn in the market.
Okay.
That's the market shift. Market's turning down. Number 3 is, and everybody knows that's going to come, and that's cyclical. We're all ready for that. Or at least we know it's coming. Are we ready for it? No, but we're aware. We don't know when or how bad and how fast. We don't know any of that kind of stuff because our crystal balls all broke back in 2007, and we haven't ever got them fixed. Right? The third big change that has happened, and this comes back to your question about how do you get that follow through and follow up with expireds and for sale by owners or anybody to not fall away until they do say yes, is trust. This is the 3 big turns: technology, the 3 big shifts, the coming changes in the market. Technology, I call it technology, the turn of the market, and trust. Trust has deteriorated in our country dramatically over the last couple of decades. 1973, when Gallup poll first started, they did a survey, and one of the surveys they asked, do you trust your neighbor? Very straightforward, simple question. Do you trust your neighbor? Mm-hmm. Nearly 3/4 of Americans said, yeah, I trust my neighbor. They asked that same question in 2017, do you trust your neighbor? And it had completely flipped, and nearly 3/4 of Americans said, no, I do not trust my neighbor. Wow. The person that lives right next to me. I don't trust him. Well, what happens when a stranger who's not your neighbor comes and knocks on your door or rings your phone?
Dude, I didn't even think
about that. They hit you up. They don't trust. When I started real estate in 1998, one thing about it was people were generally willing to give me a hearing. They may not like me calling, but they go like, okay, what do you got? Right? And they would be respectful, and they would at least give me a shot. And they believed that they didn't immediately go like, he's probably a con artist. Their immediate response was not skepticism. They may be a little annoyed or put out. Some of them be totally rude. Rudeness hasn't changed, but they didn't all of it automatically believe that I was out to get them.
Dude, you just blew my mind with that question.
Totally.
I have to rewind. Hold on. Hold on. I just thought about it while you were talking. And I'm thinking, wait, Tristan, do you trust your neighbors? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm thinking through, I'm like, I don't trust the one to my left. I actually don't trust the one to my right.
Yep.
The one in front of me, kind of. And the one to the side of that, I don't even know. I'm like, holy crap. I go, how much of that is my fault, Kevin?
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even think to blame them. I'm thinking.
Well, here's the thing. It is outside of our control. In other words, you can make your personal choices of trusting people, not trusting people, whatever. But our public discourse has become a public discourse, a discourse of distrust. And since the 2016 political cycle, the election and all of that, our public discourse in America has degraded trust. And now it's everybody, everybody's calling everybody a liar. And used to you could have political differences and still eat dinner together and still like each other and just agree to disagree. Now it's like, you disagree with me, that's because you're an asshole and whatever else I can think of to call you. Right? You're the enemy. It's used to we could disagree and still trust in other people's character and like they have an honest disagreement with me. Now, if you disagree with me, it's dishonest. Right? I mean, that's the way it's cast and it's both sides.
Of course,
so
yeah.
Trust has gone. So now you got to know when I talk to somebody, and the reason I discovered this was all the strategies of talking to people. And even I have agents that role play and they practice and they are great on the phone. They're great face to face and they still get results, but the results they get are so much lower than I used to get. And I want to say it's because I was better, right? But at some point you go like, wait a second. It's not just that. The world is changing.
Yeah, it's a
when I started, everybody still had a home phone in 1998 and they actually answered it. Today, how many people don't even have a home phone and they have this? And if the only time they answer it is if they know who they look at it, if it's a number they don't know, they don't answer it. Right? So your ability to connect with people has gotten infinitely harder than it used to be.
Well, dude, that what you just said, by the way, and look, dude, I'm always giving credit to everybody because I learned so much just by talking to people through this venue that we created. So what you just told me right now, I really had never looked at, and I don't think Nick has either. So this is cool. What you just brought to the table there, I really never approached it that way and saw that since I've started even, there's been a big shift from when I started door knocking over to the point. I mean, let's even talk about 9/11, right?
For sure.
And then the shift in the marketing that we have,
yep.
The approach that people, dude, social media, the way that's changed our psyche. Dude, you just made me think a whole bunch of stuff over like just going back 25 years.
It's why relationships are the key. Because the trust gap is now the hardest gap to overcome in real estate. If you are when you're doing lead generation, the trust gap is the toughest one. And the reason I have such a following and the reason I built my entire company was not through sales. I don't sell. I've never made a sales since I started my coaching company. I've not made a single sales call. I've never called a real estate brokerage or called a company and said, "Hey, let me come speak to your agents." I just put out video. And what that has done for me is by the time you actually come talk to me or you hear me actually do a sales presentation or something where I make an offer, you already trust me because you've watched me, you've seen my vibe, you've seen the way I talk, you've seen the way and you believe that I care about you and your success. And when people believe that, the trust is, they'll follow you anywhere when they trust you, when they believe that you are there for them, not for yourself.
Yeah, I see that. I see what you mean, man. You've got a really good following on YouTube, dude. 60, almost 66,000 people. That's insane.
I have a second channel that's got for new agents that is a kind of accidental channel. It's got a lot too, but we just, and that still kind of sucks because I watch the guys that have 1 million subscribers and I'm like, what am I doing?
Dude,
but anyway.
So if you guys want to follow Kevin, just go to Kevin Ward Yes Masters on, I'm going to subscribe right now, Kevin, there.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and Kevin Ward, Yes Masters, Kevin Ward Real Estate. Kevin Ward Now is the actual youtube.com/Kevin Ward Now. We put out videos every week. We're putting out multiple videos on how to make money and have a life in real estate. So, but back to this idea of trust. So now, how do people, when the first time you talk to somebody, they automatically don't trust you. So the key is now, how do you gain credibility? When you connect with somebody, you've got to figure out, how do I get them to trust me and believe in me? And that's harder than it used to be. So the market shift, big change. Technology, big disruption. But trust, the trust gap and the difficulty of overcoming that is probably the hardest thing for real estate agents, and they didn't even know why it was so hard. But when you understand it now, that's why, from like we started talking about early on, that it's no longer about getting listings, it's about winning sellers. I'm here for them, not here for myself. I'm not here to get something from me. I'm here to deliver a result for them. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense, dude.
I'm really bothered by what we call the language of sales, because the language of sales, just the idea of it immediately causes resistance, doesn't it?
I agree. That 100%. I've been telling people that for a while, since I figured out that it was messed up.
We don't talk about and I train on what I call resistance triggers and influence triggers. Resistance triggers are things you say right now that every agent is saying that causes people to go like, stop and resist you. And it's typically, most of it is traditional sales language. We don't like close. I stopped talking about sales. I did a YouTube video we just put up recently that said, stop closing and start leading.
Dude, I always that's so awesome that you said that. We always tell people, the world of hardcore closing is done. It's gone.
Man, you start hard closing me. I don't care how much good your stuff is. You just turn me off.
I zone out completely. I'm like,
pressure. Whatever. Look, nobody wants pressure, right? Nobody likes pressure. And hard sales, it's like I was taught, we had all this training about like be a jackhammer, just pound them into submission, right? Don't leave until they sign. Close 7 times, close harder, ABC, always closing. And I watched Glenn Ross with Alec Baldwin, and that they all ABC, always be closing, coffees for closers. And they were telling us when I was a new agent, watch that movie. If you want to learn how to be good, watch that movie. And I watched the movie and I'm like, that guy's an asshole.
Dude, totally.
I don't want to be like that, right? And nobody wants you to be like that. So how you approach people, when you approach them, it's about leading people to make good decisions that they will thank you for. Rather than trying to push them to do something they don't want to do. So people nowadays will not take pressure. That's why they don't answer the phone. That's why they won't talk to you on the door. That's why they won't call you, is because call me for all your real estate needs, the traditional marketing call to action. Call me. The moment you say call me, they're like, I'm not going to call you because if I call you, I know what's going to happen. You're going to pressure me.
Dude, exactly. And all these messages, like we made a post the other day, it's like, you have to think about what you're saying, because a lot of the times people are just saying, just calling to check in or, just touching base. I'm like, what the hell what does that even mean?
Yep.
Right. How does that connect with somebody? They know that if you're touching base, you're just trying to doing your rounds and just doing normal calling. It's like, no, that's a different world.
Yeah. People just got to know you care. People that know you got to know you care, and that you actually care about helping people get the best results. If they need to move, I'm going to help them do it in the best way possible. I'm not just in it for the commission check. This, I know we've gone, man, this is already nearly an hour. When I get going, I can go all day long. So
we can go for a little longer. Don't worry.
I do these for 3-day training camps, right? And I talk for 3 days nonstop. Here's the other thing that's happening because of all these changes. What's been the biggest hit to real estate agents? Commissions.
Yeah.
Everybody's against our commissions because they're so high. And I'm like, an agent, how do you handle the objection about commission? How do you handle commission objections? And I'm like, well, number one, you're probably overcharging because you probably suck. The average agent. I know this is like, nobody will say this. Like, well, here's what you say. And I've got all the objection handlers in this, but all these objection handlers do not work unless you are a professional. And I'm not talking about because you got an e-pro or you have a license or it's on your card. I'm talking about because of the way you train, that you can deliver a better result than anyone else.
Agreed.
That's the difference. And most agents aren't willing to do the work to become the best at delivering the best result. So sellers don't want your marketing plan. They want results. We always think it's about the marketing plan. No, it's not. The only reason they ask for a marketing plan is because they don't trust you and they don't know how to find out, are you good or not? So that's what they do. So the key is to become the best at what you do. Now, when you become the best, when somebody says, how much commission do you charge? It's a great question, Tristan. I charge a lot. I charge more than probably any other realtor you're going to talk to. Can I tell you why?
Yeah, tell me why.
I help you get more money in your pocket after commissions and everything.
How is that?
Well, when we get together, we'll talk about it.
Oh, all right.
Now, they already know going in, I'm not cheap. Well, I'm not going to pay full commission. Okay, cool. When we get together, we'll make sure we arrive at a commission that both of us feel good about. Fair enough? Cool. So let's get together. Most of my best agents, best coaching members that have mastered this, they get full commission every time. I mean, even with investors, they still get full commission.
Wow.
I've got agents that charge above their standard. Like if the standard is in their market 6%, some of them charging 7%. I don't tell them what to do. I just say, if you're going to do this, be the best. Here's the reason. I think if you're going to be a real estate agent and deal with commission, you either need to be the cheapest or you need to be the best.
Dude, there is
no value in being middle of the road. There is no value in being cheaper than somebody. Because if I'm a seller and I'm looking for the cheapest agent, right now, and I can't remember the name of the website, it just escaped me, that literally is testing. They will give you a full MLS listing, full listing service for free. I'll send you, I can't remember the link, the website. They're in test markets right now, and they have huge venture capital. They are here. This is not coming. This is here. If you either be the best or you be, if you're not the best, you're just a doormat in a warehouse full of doormats. You're a commodity.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the more we get into this world that we're in the middle of and seeing that it's happening a lot more, Open Door, Purple Bricks, even brokerages like Redfin, right?
Yep.
There's going to be a bigger separation. People talk about a separation of classes. Yes, that the gap is getting longer and longer. Well, dude, there's a separation in our world of real estate agents.
Totally. I'm trying to find that. I've got a list of the technology disruptors. Why? Oh, here it is. Here it is. I don't know why I can't remember their name. I haven't talked to them. Nope, that's not it. Well, I've got to figure it out. I've got a list of all these things, but I'm under pressure now, so I can't find it. But here's the deal. Right now, you can go to Walmart.com and you can get a smartphone for $19.87.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the Apple Store and you can get an iPhone X for $1,147.
That's very true.
Now, which of those stores has people lining up to get iPhones?
The Apple Store.
The Apple Store.
Yeah.
Nobody's lining up at Walmart to get a $19, a $20 phone. They line up to pay $1,100 for a phone. Why? Because Apple has positioned themselves as the best. If you're the problem with positioning yourself of trying to compete on commission, the moment you do that, it is a race to the bottom and is a race to getting broke.
Yeah, you lose, man.
You're going to lose every time. And there's always going to be somebody cheaper than you. When this company came out last year, House, I think that's the one. Is that the one? Yes, this is it. HAUS.com, house.com, the free and simple way to sell your home, save thousands with a free MLS listing, a simple guided process, and expert help when you need it. No agents, no fees. They make money on their extra services like staging, lockbox, inspections, and so forth.
Got it. All right, I see it.
And there are more. That's not the only one, but there's more. But again, it's just a race to the bottom. Purple Bricks, all that kind of stuff. They're all a race to the bottom. You can this is how you get full commission when everybody else is caving into what I call the cheap side of real estate. And that is when you can be the best. How many times do people go to the Rolls-Royce dealership for the deal? Right?
That's so good.
Rolls-Royce, they're ridiculously priced. Have you ever driven one? No, then shut up. Right? I mean, it's like people, if you want the best, those are people not looking for the bargains. And the problem with most agents is they're wanting to charge a full Rolls-Royce commission and they're delivering the service of a used Ford.
Dude.
No offense against Ford, but you get what I'm saying is that most agents don't have the right to demand the commission they're demanding because they don't know how to deliver the best result and get more money in the pocket for the sellers. And this is what we train in our training camps is how do you, and when you can show up that way and you can communicate that with conviction and with a track record and with testimonials that prove it, people can't tell you no.
That's very good.
And so here's what's happening now with all the shifts that are happening in real estate. Let's just say that the worst case scenario happens, and the Association of Realtors, NAR, and all the brokerages lose the class action lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
The MLS buyer's agency is dead. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it where you cannot offer buyer's agency, like split the commission, pay there. What's going to happen? MLS is gone. Now, they won't disappear, but they'll change, and now it becomes a listing. We're now marketing what? Our own listings. Where a buyer's now going to have to go to the listing agent every single time.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm telling my coaching members, guys, I know I'm not wishing bad on the industry or wishing us to get defeated, but it is the best thing that could ever happen to your business. You're going to get rich. Because if you have sellers, and you're helping sellers, and you know how to get the best results, and you know how to win with sellers, you get the money and the pretty life, and nobody else can compete with you. And your business is bulletproof. Whatever Zillow can do anything they want. If you know how to build your own platform, and by the way, it's got to be a multi-dimensional lead generation strategy now. You cannot do just one. Like I just did phone calls. That's all. I didn't do any mailers. I just did phone calls. That was all I did. It doesn't work. I mean, it'll work, but you're not going to crush it and dominate with just one dimension. So it's multi-dimensional now. In fact, I noticed a post on in the group today. How to get leads from your own listings besides open houses? It's a really good question, right? How can you take a listing and turn it into half a dozen more listings?
Yeah.
Well, and people were posting their answers, which are, all good answers, but most of them are one dimensional. Do this, knock doors. Awesome. Invite people to an open house. Do all this. Do a multi-dimensional approach. And so we have what I call it the starfish method with mailers. You do 5 mailers on every listing. You do a coming soon. You do an invite to the open house event. You do a just listed. When it goes under contract, a pending. And with it, you always have a call to action, and you always say, here's what's happening, and we need more listings, whatever. We're looking for more houses to sell. And then the 5th one is when it closes.
Ah, nice. And
you do it to at least 200 homes, direct mail. And all they look at is all of a sudden, and your face is on it, and they're seeing it over and over and over again. That's one dimension. That's direct mail. Direct mail works. And when you hit them with 5 times, it's like, wow, who is this guy? He came out of nowhere.
Yeah. And you have proof because it's a house you already have there. So that's huge.
Absolutely. And so they're seeing it. So now that's still just one dimension. So the second dimension is you go door knock for 200, 300, 400 doors in the neighborhood and invite them all to the open house event. That's the second dimension. And you're not soliciting, you're inviting.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is you do the open house event and you put out 20 plus open house signs all over the neighborhood, put the big feather signs in the front yard, like 4 of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want it so that everybody in the neighborhood goes like, everywhere I look is this agent. Okay. That's a third dimension. So you do an open house event. There's a whole lot more to that, but that's in a nutshell. The 4th dimension is you take, like with Cole Realty Resources, where you can get phone numbers, and you get all the phone numbers you can get of cell phone numbers of every home that you're direct mailing, 400 plus, and you use slide dial a voicemail to all of them, inviting them to the open house event.
Dude, so that's 4.
That's 4. Okay. And 5th, and again, I'm just giving you this little stuff. We have there's 28 steps here that we do. So this is I'm giving you 5. The 5th is have an online vortex that draws them in, that you, in every one of those marketing pieces and marketing methods that says, go to my website, soldin27.com.
Or nice. That's your unique.
Soldin28days.com or soldin10days.com. I mean, we got agents that are developing all these different platforms, and whatever it is, it's going it's saying, hey, interested in selling your house? Go here to my website. And the website itself, the URL has a message. Okay. Sellformore.com. So, I mean, we just, our agents are brainstorming on what URL can I get that is not only is it memorable, it's also a call to action. And then once they get there, if you just send them to a regular website that says, hey, get a free CMA, they're like, why am I going to give you my contact information to get a free CMA? I can do that on Zillow. I can do that anywhere. I mean, there's nothing special about it. Well, call me. I'll explain it. But they're not going to call you, because calling you, they know they're going to get pressure, right? So you got to have a repeated call to action. And there's 3, I'm going to give you the 3 basic things you have to have on an online vortex. So most agents have websites. I train on online vortex. The difference is a vortex draws people in. That's what the power of vortex is. It sucks people in, right? So how do you draw people in? Number one is you have to be an attractive character, which means video. When they get to your website, you better start talking to them right then. Why is that important? Because they don't know who you are. But when we watch people on video, we get a chance to get a vibe from them. And you have a chance to tell them your message of why they should talk to you. And they can't interrupt with an objection. And they don't feel pressure, so they'll keep watching it. And while they're watching it, now they'll scroll down the website and they'll start learning about your stuff. So number one, you have to be the attractive character. And most agent websites, people don't like video. They're scared. They don't even have their picture on it half the time. So it's like they don't know you. People hire you because of you're a person. They don't hire what you do. They don't hire a marketing plan. They hire you. They got to trust you.
You are the brand.
You are the brand. Now there's other dimensions to that, but in put it real simply, you have to be an attractive character. I'm not talking about your looks. I'm talking about the way you show up. I don't think anybody hires me because of my looks, but they hire me because of the way I show up as an attractive character, which means my goal is if you need help as a real estate agent, you will make more money and have a life, talk to me because I can help you.
Show up.
Absolutely. So number one is attractive character. Number two is you got to have an audacious promise. Like you got to be able to promise, you got to promise them something nobody else can promise. And what I train is a guarantee. And it's got to be a legit guarantee that's got teeth in it. So I'm just as a simple sample, your home, I will sell your home in 28 days at full market value, guaranteed, or I'll pay you up to $20,000. What?
Dude, I
yeah.
like that.
Now, what do I get? Their attention. And then the third thing is I've got to have an irresistible call to action that makes them say, okay, I'm willing to connect with you to get this. And so we have an irresistible offer, which is a marketing message, or it's an information source like an ebook or whatever that has information on it that they can't get anywhere else. They can't Google and get this information that gives them extra value. And again, these are all stuff that we train in our training camps and our coaching is how exactly do I do that? But when you do that, understand to win today, you've got to have that multidimensional approach. And here's the biggest thing, Tristan, and that's the last thing, and then whatever you want me to do.
You're doing great. Don't worry.
The conversation that I'm hearing, you hear it all over the place for real estate agents, and especially new ones, is, am I too late? Is real estate agency, it's like, they're making real estate agents obsolete. Are we, we're coming in too late? Like real estate agents, as we know it, the industry is dead. Is it too late? And my answer is, there has never been a better time to succeed in real estate than there is right now. There's never been a better time because it is a lie that technology is going to make real estate agents obsolete. What it's going to make you obsolete are amateurs. And they've been
already happening, dude.
They've been obsolete for 50 years. Nobody told them. They just too easy for them to get in, right? The truth is, this is the best time ever to succeed faster and bigger because never before have we had so many resources that are so available and so affordable for real estate agents to get their message out and to get in front of more people. You just have to have the right strategy. Most agents don't have the right strategy. They're still trying to get business from everybody else's platforms because they're afraid.
Yeah.
And the reason they're afraid, and I told my agents this at our last training camp. I said, you're afraid because when you ask for business, you feel like you're groveling. And the reason you feel like you're groveling is because you are groveling. And the reason you're groveling is because you're afraid because you don't know how to deliver the best results and you don't believe that the best thing they could do is hire you. Because when you believe that, then I can say I can tell people with courage and with absolute conviction, if you want to change your life and add 6 figures to your income, and by the way, we have this thing called the 6 Figure Plus Award. So we give this to agents in our coaching every time they add an extra $100,000 to their income. And so at our event, you'll see a lot of people walk across stage getting their 6 Figure Plus Award. Why? Because I'm like, this is our company mission, is to help agents add. If I can help an agent add $100,000 to their income every year or more, I know they're going to win. And so we focus on, I'm not trying to sell you on my event. I'm trying to sell you on this because this is for you. I want you walking across the stage, me handing you this, because I know that that's changed. Your life is being changed. And so I can say I tell our coaching members, if you don't come to FX Extreme Training Camp in June, it is a huge mistake.
Makes sense.
Because I believe that when you show up, I guarantee you it's going to change your life, and it's going to change your income and change your bank account. 2 years from now, you will not recognize your life. And whenever an agent gets to the point where they have that kind of conviction and belief about what they're doing for sellers, people can't tell them no, because people won't want to tell them no.
Yeah. Well, I think most agents are afraid because they don't know what to do. They don't know where to start.
Yep.
So once you guide them, or we guide them to like, hey guys, these are the steps, right? They're like, oh, they start believing in themselves and they start changing. So dude, that is so key that you said that. I love that. So dude, can we go over the 3 shifts that are happening that we're in the middle of?
Absolutely. The 3 big shifts: the turn in the market, technology, and trust, or it would be distrust. The fact that people don't trust each other anymore, and prospects don't trust you, and you got to get through that. You got to break through that barrier. The big secrets are: number 1, focus 100% of your resources on seller lead generation. That bulletproofs you against any changes in the market, any changes with technology, and any changes with lawsuits or anything else that's happening. Whatever Zillow does, if you've got sellers, they can't hurt you. And one thing they can never compete on: Zillow offers, Redfin, Purple Bricks, all the platforms out there. Here's what they never compete on: better results. Less hassle, no commissions, no realtors. But what about this? What about actually getting you more money in your pocket? Who can do that? The professionals.
And what it comes down to at the end is that's exactly what the consumer wants.
It's what they want. Now I'm selling what they want.
That's it. We just have to actually explain that that's the process. Dude, yep. I love that, bro. So anything you want to add? Kevin Ward, best-selling author. Go to thebookofyes.com to find his book and get it for free. All you pay for is shipping.
Yep.
Thank you for that. And then go to, I put the link up here, but it's the FX as an F and X extreme.com/live 2019. You're going to get to see the link there to go to his event this June. And dude, yep. I'm already pumped, and I've never gone to one, but I'm pumped. So go to that link. Yeah. Kevin, anything you want to add before we end?
Let's get you a book in your hand. Let me get us. Let's hook up and meet. Let me get that done.
Now that I know you're like down the street, I'm always on Manhattan Beach, by the way, because we're over in Torrance. So yeah. I'm going to stop by now that I know you're close.
Awesome. Well, I'm actually leaving for Texas in the morning. My dad had the surgery, and we were down there. I had to come back on Monday. I came back for this and for a webcast I was doing. But anyway, I'll be gone for the next week. But let's hook up, and we'll definitely hook up in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Last thing is, if you want to win, you got to go pro. You can get, I probably didn't talk about this enough, but no more BS. You can get yes without the BS. That's the whole point of the Book of Yes. Was I hated BS. And this is, you can get yes without the BS and win in real estate. It's your time.
I love that, dude. Thank you. That's a huge emphasis on actually showing up to train to become a better agent and a better you. I love that. So thank you, Kevin. Thanks for being on, man. I appreciate that.
Thanks for that. Appreciate the opportunity. And again, congratulations for you guys, what you're doing. It's awesome.
Thanks, bro. You too. See you soon, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.